Hello, Jason. How are you today?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for inviting us into your kitchen. I know this is kind of like sacred ground for chefs, so we do appreciate that. Now, what are you going to show us today?
Today we're going to make a blue corn crusted walleye with a lemon basil butter sauce, a wild rice pilaf, and fresh green beans. What we're going to do is we're going to start by dicing up a little bit of onion, carrot, and celery, and this is going to be for a wild rice blend. The wild rice is it's a 50-50 mixture of wild rice and long grain rice. Wild rice is actually not a rice, it's a cereal. It's indigenous to northern Wisconsin. The Indians up in northern Wisconsin, this used to be a staple of their diet. It's actually more, it's a cereal, it's an aquatic I got a little screwed up there. It's a cereal, it's an aquatic seed, and what it is, after it grows in water and when it ripens, it pops out of the flour.
Oh, wow.
And what you get is it looks like a rice, but it's actually a cereal, but people call it wild rice.
You know, I think I can go on Jeopardy with that. I never knew that. I always thought wild rice was just rice that grew wild and was unprocessed.
And that's why the texture is the way it is opposed to other rices, even after you cook it.
Correct, yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow, an aquatic seed, that is just amazing. You know, this is why I love doing this, because you learn so many new things, and Jason's just chopping away, and got like 3 different pots going on.
And the olive oil, is that what's olive oil?
Yes, it's an olive oil. It's a blend. It's olive oil, 50-50 olive oil and a little bit of soybean oil. That way it won't burn so much. And what we're going to start with is our wild rice blend. And we're just going to start by sauteing up our onion, carrot, and celery.
Always use a hot pan.
I hope you can hear that sizzle, you know, on the radio. I really hope you can hear that. That's always a wonderful sound.
We'll add a little bit of salt and pepper. We like to salt everything on every step as you're going. When you make a dish like a rice, when you're adding several ingredients over time, you want to make sure you season every step of the way. And what happens if you just throw the salt and pepper at the end, what you have is a very flat dish. You want that well-rounded flavor. So we salt every step along the way. And then our butter sauce, we're going to start, we have some shallots, some garlic, and a little bit of fresh thyme. And we're going to saute this.
I'm going to put the microphone closer. I know this is radio, but we're bringing things to life here, so I'm going to put the microphone a little bit closer, and I hope you can hear that sizzle.
Salt, and then we'll throw our thyme in.
I want these pots at home. What kind of pots are these? Are these what kind of pots are these?
Special.
These are aluminum pots. These are actually this is made by a company here local in Sheboygen County here.
Oh, wow. Everything local. I love that.
All the way down to the pots and pans.
Yeah.
Yes.
The handle doesn't get hot?
No, but it's pretty thick. It's pretty
or he has
pan.
chef hands, Bonnie, where they don't feel the heat.
They're well seasoned. Okay, now for our butter sauce, what we're going to do after we get our shallots and garlic soft, we're going to add a little bit of white wine.
Oh.
And then we're going to reduce this. And we're going to add a little bit of lemon juice. We're going to add a little lemon juice at the end, but we're going to put a little bit in the beginning also here. This is freshly squeezed lemon juice.
You can start smelling the aroma of everything.
Oh, I know.
And then we can start our walleye here at the same time in this pan. And what we have here, we have our walleye. Mm-hmm. We're just going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. And then we have our blue corn flour here. And what we're going to do is, we're not going to flour and egg wash this. We're just going to lightly pat it in there. So we don't want a real thick crust on this. This is a light, delicate fish. Mm-hmm. And we just want a real light, just on one side.
Yeah. And I like that you're using blue corn flour. That's very interesting. How does that change the taste?
It adds it's a little more, instead of just doing a plain cornmeal, it adds a little more flour to it, adds a little more color to it also, to your dish.
So you only do one side?
We're just going to do one side.
Gets nice and...
Correct, yes. What we want to do is, if you have too much, I don't want to take away from the delicacy of the fish. I want the texture of the fish, but I want that nice little light crust of the cornmeal on there.
Okay.
And we'll get that hot, and then we're going to add just a little bit of butter. That'll help in the coloring.
Butter makes everything better.
Butter's good for
better.
everything, yes.
Butter and bacon, the two
Butter and
B's.
bacon, right.
Once we get to the point where our vegetables for our rice are soft, we're going to add our rice, and we're just going to stir this in just for a little bit.
I think that's another thing that I do when I try to cook is I kill things. Instead of letting stuff cook just long enough, I kind of overcook it.
Okay.
Is there a quick remedy for that?
It just, well, start a little later.
Oh, Jason's got jokes too.
Okay.
Or just let Jason do it.
Sure, just hire me and I'll gladly come over. Okay, and like I said, we're just going to get this. We don't want it not too hot. You want the pan hot, but you don't want to. What happens if the cornmeal, if it gets too hot, it's going to turn brown.
Okay.
And you're going to get a different kind of texture and a different flavor and a color that you just don't want here.
Right.
Again, the whole don't overcook it. And then once you get it nice and soft or sauteed, we're going to add our water. And it's 2 parts water to 1 part rice. And of course our salt and pepper.
Right.
And you've mixed the salt and pepper together.
Correct, yes.
So you've already pre-mixed that, so when you put it in. Now, do you do fresh catches of the day?
Yes, we do. We have a local special that we run.
Okay.
Okay, and we just want a little bit, we're going to flip this over. Like I said, it's not too dark. It's got a nice blue color to it. And then we're just going to finish this in the oven.
I've seen them do that on the cooking.
Yes.
Nope, we're just letting it reduce down.
Of course, Latitudes is your fine dining, but you also have some very casual dining throughout the resort as well.
Correct. We have Beacon Restaurant, which is open 7 days a week up in the lobby. It is a family-friendly restaurant. We have nice sandwiches, pizzas, a little bit of everything. We have some entree salads, some great appetizers, a little bit of everything for the entire family.
Now, what would you say the cuisine here? I mean, I know we said fine dining, but what is your specific cuisine here at Latitudes?
We like to stress on local ingredients. We try to stay as Midwestern as we possibly can. We have steaks and local seafood. We have steak and pork that we get from local farmers here in Wisconsin. So we like to keep it as local as possible.
Also, one of the local dishes here is a cheese curd, and we noticed that was on the menu at the On the Rocks where we went last night.
Correct.
Now, do you do it the standard way, or do you do a little twist on it?
We do it pretty standard. I mean, we get fresh cheese curds in. We go through 40, 50 pounds of cheese curds a week here. We don't freeze them. We get them in fresh. We make our own batter, our own beer batter. We have our own seasonings to it, and we keep it pretty simple. We like the cheese curd itself is what's important to it, and that's where we want to stand out.
Right.
We try not to mask it or try to hide it. We want the cheese to stand out.
Right. I'm originally from Washington, D.C. Had never heard of cheese curds before until my trip to Wisconsin.
Sure.
I said, "What is that?" But we've had them before, and they are good. They are good.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, and I guess you have to start with really good pots to withstand the heat that you have to keep on them.
And
a lot of it's having your prep ready and having your mise en place and getting everything set. When you're making dishes like this, you do as much ahead of time as you can, like I did for you guys here.
Right.
I mean, there's about 8 or 9 different ingredients. If you get it all prepared and you know the rice takes the longest, and then the butter sauce and the fish, we're going to blanch some green beans. You kind of learn, what takes so long and what takes certain steps and how long certain things do, and you do them in order. So the whole idea is when you're doing that final dish, everything is done perfectly and at that right temperature.
Right. Now, for those of us who aren't chefs, mise en place.
Thank you.
I know what it is from the Food Network channel, but
sure. I mean, the actual it's basically it's a French term for your prep. It's for getting everything ready, all your vegetables diced. If it's your meat prepped and everything, it's just a general term that people like to use for having your prep, having your mise en place ready.
And I noticed that was the very first thing that you did, so that you had all of that ready to go.
Now, that was heavy cream that you put in.
Yes, what we're going to do, we're going to finish the butter sauce here. We're going to add just a little bit of heavy cream. And basically this is just going to help stabilize the dish. The dish itself is a lemon juice, white wine, and butter. That's the consistency of the sauce. But you add just a little bit of cream, it stabilizes it. It helps hold if you're serving this at home, you wouldn't have to add the cream. You can add the butter, you can serve it right away, and you'll be fine.
Okay.
If you want to hold it for a little bit, say you're going to serve it in 20 minutes or 25 minutes, if your guests aren't ready, you can add a little bit of cream, and it will help hold it. And you just let it boil and come up, and you have to stir it. It's going to get clumpy. It's going to get mushy.
Right.
You want this fluffy texture. You want it to not stick together, and you can see, we got a very nice consistency here.
Yeah, very nice.
Now, what is the temperature of the oven? Because you're finishing off several things in one oven. So
if I was doing this at home, I would do it around 375, just so it's nice and slow, and you're not doing it too fast. In the restaurant, at night when we're doing multiple over and over and over entrees, we do it as hot as we can. We have about 450, so we can get it done real fast.
Right.
Our butter sauce, we are going to strain all the thyme and the shallot and the garlic out of it. And basically, we're just going to pour it in our strainer here, and we'll finish seasoning it.
Now, Chef, how long have you been a chef?
I've been doing this for over 20 years. I've only been a chef for a while. The chef is really the main person in the kitchen. When you're talking about, when you call someone chef, that's the boss in the kitchen. I've been a cook for over 20 years. I've been doing this.
And
we push and squeeze all our shallots and garlic out of there.
That looks delicious.
And then we're going to finish our butter sauce here. A little bit of salt and pepper, of course. And then we have some fresh basil that we sliced up. And then I want to add a little more lemon juice here.
Right. And it does it so quickly.
And then we're going to stir all that together. And then what we're going to do is I have some green beans here that I blanched ahead of time. You can blanch these fresh. We're going to put this in we have some salted water.
Okay.
We're just going to put these in. I cooked these ahead of time so they'll go real fast.
So you're just bringing them back up to temperature?
Correct.
Okay.
And then what we'll do is we will finish off our plate here. Remove this.
Now, when you were feeling the fish for its doneness, what are you feeling for? How do you know?
You're trying to feel that texture. It's just something you get used to it. You want that firm texture, correct?
Okay.
You don't want it to break it open. But if it still squishes a little bit like your palm, there's a little give to it. It's still raw meat.
Okay.
So you want to feel it where it's just they had that right texture.
So just like the area at the base of your thumb.
Correct. Yeah. You want it nice. You'll feel it tight. You don't want it to give. I mean, if you can feel this right here, there's really. I mean, you can feel there's no real wiggle to it. There's no give to it.
I can see how you're doing that.
Then what we're going to do is we're going to start a dish with a little bit of rice.
Yeah. We're just looking.
No, it's like,
So forget about that we're on the radio. We're just looking here. It's called dead air time, but I'd love to see you work.
We're going to put the rice in the middle of the plate. We're going to put our lemon butter sauce all around.
it looks absolutely. You have to go to our website to see this because it's absolutely.
Oh yeah,
beautiful.
This is very nice. This is very nice.
And then our green beans, like I said, they're going to cook real fast. We're going to put those in a little butter also.
And I really love that just about everything is local. I mean, and even the story of wild rice and learning about that, but also that it is local.
And just give this a little bit of salt and pepper and a little bit of butter. We're going to put our green beans down.
It's all about the presentation.
And then we'll put our fish.
Oh, can't forget the fish.
We can't forget the walleye here.
And these are the kind of dishes that you can get right here at Latitudes at the Blue
Correct.
Harbor Resort.
This is actually on the menu at Beacon Restaurant.
Oh, at Beacon as well. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
And then we'll put our walleye there, a little bit of skin.
It gives you a whole new appreciation for how a plate comes to your table, doesn't it? When you
just
see
for a little bit of extra flavor and color, I've diced up a little bit of tomato, a little pineapple, a little bit of chives and lemon juice. This is just a little tomato pineapple relish that we're going to put right on top.
we're getting our forks all ready.
We got our forks ready.
Yeah, we have our forks ready, and we're about to do our taste test.
And there we go.
Oh, great.
Here we go.
Perfect
Blue corn
timing,
crusted
Jason.
walleye with
Perfect
our lemon
timing.
basil butter
And
sauce.
I really hate to dig into this.
I know. I'm looking forward to it.
Please enjoy.
Everything.
Oh, thank you, Jason. This looks wonderful.
Looks wonderful.
Oh, that lemon sauce is wonderful.
Tastes even better than it looks. Jason, this is excellent.
Thank you.
It's hot.
And I love all the different textures and the flavors. Oh, I sound like I should be on the Food Network, don't I?
The lemon sauce is wonderful. I do like
It's a
that.
nice little addition. It's not too overpowering.
So a little wine, a little lemon juice, some butter, and some heavy cream, some salt and
fresh
pepper,
basil.
and some fresh basil.
You need to do a Blue Harbor cookbook so I can learn how to
Oh
do
yeah,
this at home.
the wild rice is wonderful.
You'll have to come back and visit more, and we'll show
I
you
love this
some more.
walleye. This is great. Well, Jason, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I'm glad
This
you
is
enjoyed it.
wonderful. As you can hear, my mouth is full, and I'm not going to put my fork down because we're going to continue to eat.
Okay.
But it is our time to go. But
Okay.
thank you so much, and we're going to check out some of your other restaurants here at Blue Harbor Resort.
Thank you very much. My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Take care, Jason.
Thank you.